This is going to show you how to run a simulation of rolling 2 die, summing up the values of those die, and looking at the results. And so in order to do that, after you get into StatCrunch, go to Applets, go to Simulation. We're running a simulation of dice rolling, and running simulation is a way to kind of analyze probability without having to physically conduct those experiments. So we're going to pick simulation, again, Applets, simulation, dice rolling. And so in our case, I want you to roll 2 dice, and you're going to, the number of sides is 6, that's a traditional die. We're going to tally the sum, and then we compute. We'll get a screen that looks like this here. We can roll the die, 2 die 6 with the 6 sides, a normal die. We can roll that 1 time, 5 times, or 1,000 times. And so in our case, let's do 1,000 times. And so before we do that, we can also tally how many times a certain event occurs. And so we don't really have to do anything here, but I'm going to set it equal to 7. And what's going to happen is when we roll the dice, it will tell us how many times a 7 came up. But we'll be able to use that after we run the simulation. So I'm just going to run, if I run it 1,000 times, you can see the computer rolls the dice 1,000 times. You can see a distribution of how often the sums have come up. And then you could also change it here. And right here it says the 7 came up 164 times out of the 1,000, and that was 16.4% of the time. And again, you could change this number here to a 3, and then it tells you how many times a 3 came up, change that to 11, and so forth. If you wanted to analyze this individual sums, you would just hit analyze, and what happens is it copies the information. You have 1,000 values in here of all the sums in case you want to do some analysis of that. You could also click on these here, and so you can see if I roll the 9, if I click on the 9 bar here, or this bar here, it gives you some values there you can play with. But in general, again, that's how you run a simulation for rolling 2 dice.